You're listening to the Back Porch Talk podcast. Danny and Jason had many discussions and debates on the back porch while making pivotal investment moves with assets. That's right, with trading cards. They welcome you to the back porch and right into those discussions about current sports news with a fresh and unique twist. So come on and join us. Welcome to the Back Porch Talk podcast. I'm your coach, Jason.
Your coach, Danny.
Fans, we got a full show for you today. NBA Finals. Give you our perspective. Before we get into it, though, y'all know what to do. Go ahead and like. Go ahead and subscribe. Let the algorithm. Danny, series is tied 1 game apiece. After this classic first game, second game wasn't necessarily as classic. Man, let's just talk about the first game. We didn't get a chance to talk about the first game. 111, 110 Pacers in a comeback effort for the ages. Down 15 in the fourth quarter. They come all the way back with the Haliburton special. A Haliburton game winner with 0.3 seconds left on the clock. And nonetheless, man, the Pacers prevail 111, 110. And I'll just say this real quickly, Danny, regarding game one. I think there was a lot of coaching mistakes by the Thunder in that fourth quarter. Listen, the back and forth in the fourth quarter was amazing. But at the same token, the Thunder, they just weren't hitting shots.
Mm-hmm.
And I just sensed like, you know what this team needs? They just need a timeout. They need a timeout. Let them get themselves together. Let me go ahead and draw up a play to get them going for the rest of the time. Now, granted, this is going to put me in a bad spot in where I would just have one timeout going in, the rest of the way. But I think that timeout would have been worth it had they taken it.
Yep.
Thunder lose game one. They come back in game two, and where I just felt, I don't know about you, Danny, but I felt that no lead was safe. No lead was safe, man. Listen, I just felt that even in the fourth quarter when the Thunder were up, I think at times by 17, 19, 21 points, I'm like, how much time is left on the clock?
Yep.
And I didn't feel safe until maybe the 4-minute mark. And I was like, okay, the Thunder got this game. And so they go ahead and win 123-107 in game two to tie this series up, and where Wednesday will be game number 3 in Indiana. What say you so far about this final series, Danny?
Jason, in game one, Chet Holmgren he had no impact on the game. And that was big.
Done.
Yep. We had 6 points. And so that was huge, man. I thought too, OKC, they came out hot. And Indiana turned the ball over a record amount of times for first half for them for the season. And OKC really didn't take advantage because I thought OKC should have been up like 35, 40 at points in this game. The way Indiana was playing, they're just real sloppy. But OKC just couldn't put them away. And, Shea was having his game, but there was really nothing else going on the OKC side, especially in the fourth quarter. That was huge for Indiana to steal that game because the way game two went, OKC brought it. And I think, too, man, in the game two, Indiana had a balanced attack. They had 7 people in double figures, 7 players in double figures. But if you watch Haliburton, I know Carlisle was trying to play it off, saying, he was having different impacts on the game, but he wasn't scoring.
Not
he
at
really
all.
He really didn't get going until the fourth quarter. So, I believe he had like 3 points going into the fourth quarter, and he ended up with 17. So I think in game 3, when, they go back to Indiana, Haliburton has to be assertive on offense.
Yeah.
I thought there were a couple shots
From
he
the
could have
jump.
took. Yeah. That he was he kept dishing, which was good because he was getting people involved. But at the same time, man, they need his scoring. In order to be successful in this series. So far, it's been that game one uh, was intriguing. Game two was kind of a snoozer. Once you
Hmm.
got to the second half, it was, but like you said, though, it was like, all right, when's Indiana going to turn it on? But they never really got that chance because OKC kept, making shots and making sure they didn't come back. Pivotal game three tomorrow,
Hmm.
and where I think is a must win for Indiana. In order for them to win this series, I think tomorrow, if not tomorrow, Friday for sure. One of these
Yeah,
games they
for
got to get
sure.
at home.
You gotta get at home. They got to.
But the way they came out in game two, I think it'll give them some momentum because right now the way they looked in game two, they look flat. They need
Hmm.
some momentum. If they can get game three, I think that puts them in a better spot to actually possibly steal this series because they're heavy underdogs at this point in this series.
And to that point, I think what made game one very impressive was that of the 19 turnovers in the first half that the Pacers actually had, and for them to come all the way back, didn't turn the ball over as much. Obviously, in the second half, I think only had like five turnovers in the second half, and just to walk down OKC. But to your point, Danny, Haliburton has got to be aggressive to start off in this game, man. I think the home crowd will help with that.
Yep.
Shea has this mid range game on lock. Just the shifts, the start and stops, the motion,
Mm-hmm.
uh, fadeaways. You, you miss the mid range game in the NBA, and you have it in Shea,
Mm-hmm.
and he gets to the line. He can go either side, left side of the court, right side of the court. He can drive. I mean, he finishes well at the rim. I mean, he has an all around game. He has a package. He has a plan A, B, and C for you. If you let him score, the question is, what will the rest of the OKC Thunder team do? And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's what you experienced in game one. Game two, completely different. I'm looking forward to this game three. I know the ratings have been down significantly, purely because of the market. I think this is good. This is what will get moving forward. Quite honestly, I mean, you're gonna have different teams year in and year out. I believe under this current CBA,
Yep.
until a team can solve the puzzle. Can we just have two stars, or can we have a star in a premier all star, and the rest, pivotal players? Can we have extended contracts? And you kind of see this within the OKC Thunder salary range, salary contract for the team. So this is going to be really interesting. The draft is coming up. I think there's going to be a lot after this final series. There's going to be a lot of movement leading up to the draft or even on draft night.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be really interesting to make up of the teams moving forward. But man, I think the NBA kind of got this right with the CBA with respect to not having super teams and just having, a good uh, type of league that has parity across the board. So what say you, Danny?
I agree, Jay. I know, like you said, they're not major markets, but if you're a basketball fan, these are the teams based on the way Indiana's been playing, and OKC's been dominating. It's a great matchup. They're contrasting styles we talked about in the past. You get Shea in there as a budding superstar, the MVP. You get Haliburton, making a name for himself. I'm sure he'll be having some commercials come out with him, hitting all these shots. He's made a
Mm-hmm.
name for himself in this series. We'll see how the benches perform
Yeah.
coming
Mm-hmm.
up because, at home, usually the bench, that's where they
Mm-hmm.
usually shine. Look at
Mm-hmm.
Caruso.
Mm-hmm.
Caruso's been huge in this series so far.
He has been.
His defense, he's been just all over the Pacers with his defense, as well as Dort and everyone else. But I'm just calling out Caruso because He had that 20-point game in game 2. So will he be able to bring that again, duplicate that effort in game 3? And will some of the bench players from Indiana, like Obi
Mm-hmm.
Toppin,
Mm-hmm.
get going and have a strong game 3? So I think it'll be, Haliburton on Indiana and then their bench.
Mm-hmm.
Can they bring the noise in that game 3 and put some pressure on OKC?
Let me ask Danny, is Haliburton a superstar or is this a star? And while you think about that, does a superstar need to be in a big market nowadays?
I say no, because look at Giannis.
Yep, exactly. I was about to
And
go there.
so I think Halliburton is on his way. He still has these lapses
Mm-hmm.
in
Yep.
games where he's not superstar status yet, but he's on
Mm-hmm.
that trajectory. But he needs to be, I think his consistency needs to be a little bit better. We've seen it in the playoffs. We've seen it in game 2 where he was like, where is he at? And then all
Mm-hmm.
of a sudden,
Mm-hmm.
he got it going in the fourth quarter. He's just had a couple duds in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you look at Shea, he hasn't had many bad games. He's usually going to get you 30 and play strong defense. So I think Halliburton is on his way. I'll put it like that. And like I said, with all these last second shots, it's going to make his bank account a little bit bigger in the offseason.
Well, I would say I don't think he's a superstar.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't hit that status yet for me.
Yep.
Is he a star? I'm going back and forth even on that. If he gets a chip, then he would be a star.
Okay.
But superstar, no. No, I can't. I don't put him on the same echelon as a Steph Curry. I don't put him in that tier. I'm trying to think of the tier below Steph Curry. I mean, could I put him in a tier like KD's in the tier of Steph, LeBron's
Yep.
in the tier of Steph. I'm trying to think of new
Well,
schoolers.
well, just think of the Olympic team. So you had like Anthony Edwards,
Yeah,
Jason Tatum, and Halliburton was on the team. He didn't play.
yeah, yeah.
So
Well, this even with who you just said, this LeBron's that Jason is he on the same tier as Jason Tatum, Halliburton.
he's dang close. Like I said, like you said, Jason, I think he needs that championship. He is not Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum, I think, is a better player, all around
Yeah,
player.
I agree. I agree.
But if you look at, it's more than just the game, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's that off the
It's
court stuff.
the it factor. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's working on that right now. So that's
Well,
why I said he's on that trajectory
yeah.
towards that way. He's not there. But if you look in the league, man, if you look at this new proposed All-Star game with USA versus the world for the NBA, Halliburton's on that team.
That you see, they should have changed this format a few years ago.
Yeah. Hockey
Everybody
had to
want,
slap him in the face with it and then
yeah,
say, hey, this is what you
yeah,
better be doing.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, should be all the way interesting there. Thank you for joining us at Back Porch Talk Podcast. You can also join us on Twitter by tweeting us at back_podcast. For more information, you can go to our website, which is backporchtalkpodcast.com. You can also email us at backporchtalkpodcast@gmail.com. Again, thank you for joining us, and remember that there's enough hate in the world, so go ahead and spread a little love.